Welcome to a new episode of the Beauty of Business podcast. Today's guest is a best-selling author and the founder of Jotform, a company with over 25 million users and 500 employees. And he did it all bootstrapped. Welcome to the pod, Aytekin.
Hello, Alexander. Thank you for having me on your show. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So you've kind of achieved a dream for a lot of founders and entrepreneurs with building a huge business and employ a lot of people. How did you get started? How did Jotform get started?
Yeah. Before Jotform, I was working for this media company in New York, and I was a programmer. I studied computer science in university, and I was doing lots of things. Like we had like over 100 websites, but one of my duties was to create forms. And I was creating all kinds of forms, like questionnaires, contact forms, payment forms, like contest registration forms, any kind of form you can think of. I was building them. I kind of hated it. I didn't want, like, it was just boring. Like I wanted to do more challenging things than creating these HTML forms. So I wanted to find a way to automate it. But when I looked into finding a product, I couldn't find one, at least good one. I couldn't find good one. There was SurveyMonkey, but that was only for surveys.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew that this could be something I can build. And I was really interested in building my own product. So 2005 summer, I quit my job, and then I started working on Jotform, and it took me like 8 months to build the first version. Released in 2006, and it just started very slowly, and it was a very slow growth in the beginning. Like just like the first 5 years, like the first year, I added my first employee. And the first 5 years, we have been growing like one employee per year on average.
Yeah.
So at the fifth year, we were like just this still very small company with 5 employees. But when you compare it to recently, now we have like 700 employees. And 5 years ago, we were like 200 employees. So like we added 100 employees per year on average during the last 5 years. So it's just, I think that's the nature of SaaS. SaaS is like snowball. Like it starts very slowly, and in the beginning, it feels like nothing is going to happen. But then this snowball, as it gains more and more growth and becomes successful, and as we worked on the product, improved the product, added additional products and features, that actually got bigger so much. And it's and I think it's about staying with the task, like with the not quitting, but then listen to the customers, users, getting feedback and improving your product. And if you do that consistently, you will see that growth. I think it's about being patient and being persistent.
That's awesome. It's such an amazing story to go from one employee per year, then 100 a year. That's insane. But you bootstrapped this company. So when growing, like you said, it was slow in the beginning. But how did you acquire more users? But I imagine there wasn't a huge marketing budget.
My first strategy was to kind of do PR using the technology angle. So right at that time, like Gmail actually came out in 2004. So there was this like big buzz about like, before like web apps, web products, like the software was actually something you installed in your computer. Like it was like the Salesforce came out at the early 2000s, I believe, and like when they were just coming out, they were saying like end of software was the campaign, right? So it was like there was this discussion about like, can web apps be as powerful of like the software you install in your computer? We know today that they can be, right? Figma beats Photoshop, right? At that time, people said, okay, yeah, you can do Gmail. It's just, but you can never have Photoshop on the web, right? And that was like what people were saying. And I was kind of playing for that trend. Like I had a blog, I was talking about like my blog title was actually called Web Apps Are the Future. And and I was also, when I released Jotform, like I didn't put like a like registration form. My homepage was just this product, just like when you launch a product that you install in your computer, like you would go to jotform.com and you would have this like form builder, like you would have these fields, you can drag and drop them, instant edit them, and customize your form right on the homepage of jotform.com. And we were like that for a very, very long time because I really believed in that. And because it involves some things that weren't seen much before, like drag and drop with JavaScript on the web, and like instant edit, like those kind of stuff, like one-page app stuff. I use that angle. I just when I released Jotform, I wrote on some forums that people who business people who involved with software visited, like business of software forums from on Joel Spolsky's blog. But I also I blogged about it. But I also wrote emails to these like tech editors, just telling them, oh, hey, this is you should check it out. Like this is I made something really cool. It showcases what can be done on the web. So I actually use the technology angle, and it's just like today. Like if you're like coming out with a product today, if you use the AI angle, you'll get so many eyeballs.
Yeah,
it's incredible because just every day, like there's just like so many new AI products are coming out, and it's so they like this. I think this is a great way to promote your startup in the beginning, using the technology angle, because people are actually interested in knowing like what's possible, what can be done with the new technologies, and it's a great way to do PR for your business.
yeah, that's it. It's also kind of, you have to go that route if you don't have a lot of cash to advertise as well, and especially the kind of growth hack in the forums and the blogs that people in that field read as well. So it's kind of all targeted advertising already. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I was just watching one of podcasts. I can't remember the product, but basically what they were doing was like they had these triggers when someone posted something about, I think it was about HR or something. They would quickly get notified, and they would just go there and provide a helpful reply, but then they would kind of also promote their product on the side. And that was their initial growth strategy, and they became very big tap of that strategy. Yeah.
How has the competitive landscape changed for you? Because you started Jotform because there wasn't many options available, but today there's probably very many options available. So how do you kind of differentiate yourself, and how do you stay competitive?
That's also very interesting because just like inventions, like when there's an invention, someone far away is also inventing the same thing at the same time. Because I think what's happening is that when something becomes possible, like many people actually discover that that's possible, and then they start building products. And so a lot of competitors actually came out in 2006 when Jotform came out. Like most of our top competitors, they also came out in 2006. What happened over time was like many of them actually received investments. So what happens when you like, I stay bootstrapped. Today, I'm still 100% owner of Jotform. I received no investment, no debt, and I'm still free to continue my journey. But what happened with these companies, and some of them were actually even ahead of us. Like one of the products was called Wufu, and they were they were one of the first YC batches, and like even Paul Graham was kind of like mentioning them in his post, which like I was like rereading Paul Graham's post, like it's one of my idols, and then like
I'm reading them. I'm reading them now, actually. So I completely understand. Yeah.
and so what happened was that because they received this VC funding and angel funds, and you have this ticking bomb, like just I mean for the founder it's not a ticking bomb, like if the founder's goal is to do an exit, it's good, but for the product it's not that good, because what happens is that most of the time your company is bought by this big company or private equity, and what happens is that these companies don't really care about your product, don't care about your users, and they will, like, if you are lucky, they will just let you do your own thing. But what happens is that the founder actually leaves, because they have their exit. And but once they leave, the product actually continues to grow, and that's what happened with Wufu. They were ahead of us, like but once the survey monkey actually bought them, like after that, like there was no improvement like that. Made the team much smaller. The founders left, and then they didn't discontinue the product, but they kind of stopped growing and improving the product. So many of the competitors, exactly that happened, and some of them actually turned toward, like, instead of being this product-led SaaS company that values users, they some of them actually decide, okay, we are going to stop the free version, we are going to become this more sales oriented. And what happens is that their market share actually started going down, because one of the reasons Jotform has grown to 25 million users is because we always had this free version. And from day one, we had the free version. We still have the free version. You can still have like first 100 submissions for a month is free, and we still have that. And all the additional products we built, we kept that philosophy. And because of that, we continue to grow. And some of the products decided that that's a different kind of exit. Just kind of get more sales, increase revenues. But when you do that, in the short term you increase revenues. In the long term, you kind of slow down the growth. But we had other competitors came out, like Typeform is one of the, and they actually came out with a different style, a different form style, and that was actually very innovative style, and they were very successful. But like we actually kind of, once we saw their success, we actually also created this similar style. We called it card forms, and it was kind of like a one question per page style. And but what we discovered was, like, most people actually don't like that. Most people actually prefer, but there is like this small part of the customer base, they actually loved it. And we still, like, when you create a form today, like, you have those two selections, like classical form or a card form.
Yeah.
So that's how we were able to kind of make sure that we didn't became less competitive. We were able to continue, and many people love card forms today, and they use it. And instead of going to Typeform, they can use card forms. So and today's market, I think the biggest threat is the AI, because the AI, if you think about it, AI can actually replace the forms. Instead of filling out this boring form, you could just talk to this AI, and the AI can actually take your forms. And that's why actually we are kind of working on that. We are working on this new product that we call Jotform AI agents. Basically, instead of creating a form, you can just transform your forms into AI agents. And instead of people filling out these boring forms, they can actually just maybe over phone, they can talk to this AI, or maybe on the web, they can use a chatbot to fill out the form by having a conversation. But it's not just about filling out the form. They can also get help. They can ask questions. And maybe if they are not ready to buy the product, it can even do like pre-sales, post-sales, and just do support and sales. And we are seeing like, we haven't released it to the world yet, but we have been, I've been working on that for the last year, and we will release it in 2025. And we have hundreds of beta users, and they are getting like great value from the product. They love the product, and it's amazing. Like this, just one customer was basically what they were doing. Is like they are taking like sales calls and lead generation, and so he's actually using the Jotform AI agent to kind of, when someone answers the question, he actually give that question to the AI agent. AI agent actually gives the next question, and he actually, asks that question. But it's not just that. Like if someone asks a question, the AI agent can actually answer that. So basically, it's kind of like just using AI agent as a helper, but it's really about like he has also junior salespeople, and junior salespeople don't know like the answers to many questions. So he's kind of getting help from the AI at this point to answer those questions as well. But it's also a way to fill out the form as well. So this is, I think that's kind of the feature. The AI agents and the AI in general is going to just change the world in the coming years.
It's going to be very interesting to see. And also, like you're talking about, it's more efficient on both ends for me as a user, but you as a company as well, in terms of both training, but also maybe if you needed 3 people before, you can have one person doing the job with AI. So it's going to be very interesting to see what shape and form AI is going to take in different companies and how it's going to affect our day-to-day job as well. It's going to be very interesting. In terms of
are going to be so big because right now it's just very simple, right? We ask, like we go to ChatGPT or like Gemini or like, Claude or something else, and we just ask questions and get answers. But with the AI agents, they can actually complete tasks for us. They can kind of replace, like we can clone ourselves with AI, or like they can become our representatives.
Yeah.
They can go out the world and accomplish things for us. Like if we have a workflow that involves like other people, like clients, customers, they can actually go on our behalf, and they can actually, go ask questions. Like they can write email, or they can have like chat conversations. They can make phone conversations. Just incredible. Like just when we actually, for the Jotform AI agents, I didn't think that was like possible. Like that was very possible. But once we actually built that like phone version, it was amazing. Like just having filling out a form on the phone is by itself is huge, because if you think about it, just like, some people maybe they don't have like computer. Some people don't have like good eyesight, and just being able to just answer questions on the phone is by itself, and you don't have to wait 30 minutes to talk to a human agent.
Yeah.
With the AI, there's no waiting. Just talk to it right away, and you can call it hundreds of times. And the company is not going to get tired of you because you called them 100 times. Yeah, because the AI is taking care of things. Yeah.
It's also going to be very interesting in terms of the data and privacy aspect of the AI, because right now it's based on kind of everything on the internet. But if we're going to use it as agents, we need to that needs to be our data, not everyone else's. So it's going to be interesting to see how we solve that issue, and how the big AI companies solve that issue as well, because there's been some data leaks from huge companies, and we don't want that, especially if we're talking phone calls and and forms and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but people are kind of getting more used to using the internet. Like this was a bigger issue in the past.
Yeah.
But now people are kind of used to using SaaS products, and these SaaS products also get better at protecting privacy, protecting information. I think these AI companies are also should be able to protect the data, but of course this is still a risk. Yeah, it's just you take some risk and then you gain something, right? If you don't take any risks, it's it's a difficult issue, but I think it's it's going to be solved because if you think about it, like the AI can also work locally, and we're also using like local LLMs like Llama, and when you use a local LLM, it's just the data doesn't have to leave to any third parties.
Let's go back to when scaling Jotform. You didn't get any investors and you still don't have any investors. You talked a bit about what kind of happens when you get investors. Is that the reason why you didn't bring anyone in, or is there some other reasons?
It wasn't actually anything like that at the beginning. I was just this, like before I started Jotform, I didn't know anything. I was just this individual contributor, young in my 20s, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any network or connections. So it's just, I didn't even know where to start if I wanted to get investment. So I didn't waste any time on it. So I just, started building my product. That's it. I didn't, pitch my product to any investors. But over time, once Jotform actually started getting bigger, actually, investors, they started coming and knocking the door. And I remember this, I had this friend who was really good at, financial, like he was doing like, helping, big companies with financial, reporting and forecasting. And like I actually hired him for a week. Like we were very close friends, but I don't want to take advantage of his time. But just I hired him for a week, and then we sat down together for a week, and then we looked at the numbers, and then he told me like you shouldn't sell. Like this is gonna grow so big, and you have this big growth curve. It's not gonna. It doesn't look like it's gonna slow down. It doesn't make sense to take any investments. Just keep growing. And I always had this philosophy to stay in my means. Like every month I would look at how much we earned and how much we spent. These are our revenues, these are expenses. I just look at cash, right? And today, like our CFO actually sends me a monthly report, but we still have that. And I always had that two rules. Make sure that I have 1 year's salary for every employee I have in the bank. Like that's my rule, and I keep that rule even today. Just make sure that
with 700.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually, keeps me. And we never had a layoff or anything like that during these 18 years. And that actually makes sure that I don't like just overgrow and over extend. Just keep it in my means. And the second rule is like this 25% gross margins. Like whatever I am earning, whatever I am spending, that should be like this gross 25% margin. And as long as I have those rules in place, I don't have to actually worry about anything, like just do any forecasting or anything like that. We do those like forecasting, budgeting, things like that. But like those rules are actually, keeping things, like as a bootstrapper, you can't just go back and, get another investment, right? That's why you have to kind of have that kind of discipline. So that's why like just at that point, like, once the investors start, and I met some of them, and just to meet and learn from them, and also see what they say about our business. But I was never convinced that it makes sense to get investments. But it actually makes sense at some point, like if you grow so big, to go into public markets. But the worry I have about the public markets, going to the stock exchange, is once you do that, it's just like you. I have this mentality of looking at things in the long term. Like I look at when I'm working on Jotform AI, I'm actually looking like, okay, we are not going to earn anything for the next couple of years, but then this is the future, right? I'm investing in the future.
Yeah.
But once you have that, like you just start thinking about quarter to quarter, and when you start thinking about the quarter to quarter, you are kind of like optimizing for the short term. And then what happens is that when you optimize for the short term, you are losing that long-term growth. And you are just start getting worried. Oh, our growth rate is a little bit slower this quarter, this year. Hey, what will investors think? Like this is terrible. Like you'll get stressed, things like that. So I guess it's about like why you do these things. Like if you for me it's about product building, like building a good product, having lots of people use the product, and keep on improving the product. It's just what I care about. Obviously, I have a family. I have 3 kids, and I still need to make sure that we live a good life, and things like that. But I've been patient over the years, and at some point, it's just the company has grown so much that I don't have to worry about those kind of things. But I remember when I didn't have a family, when I was like single. I remember at the time I was actually leaving the office, and there was this snowstorm, and I didn't have a car and I was very proud of that. I didn't actually spend any money on the car. Instead, I reinvested in my business, and my employees were actually leaving with their cars, and I was actually walking to the bus stop, and I'm actually very proud of that. I'm very proud of that that part of the beginnings of Jotform.
It's so cool that you can actually bootstrap that size of a company and still have that good of financial situation in the company that you can keep all the employees for a year. And also imagine as an employee, that makes you feel very, very safe as well. In terms of there is no, like you say, quarter to quarter swing in the stock price and the bottom line. So that's incredible. You talked a bit about the investors, but I imagine you've had some offers for selling the whole business as well over the years, or maybe there are some people knocking on the door now. Have you ever considered selling?
There was actually a story that was a long time ago, 2011. Like I guess like we were like at that point 4 years old. Like we were still a small team, and actually Facebook came to us, and their business development team, they were interested in acquiring, I guess, like acquiring us.
Yeah.
Maybe in the beginning I thought they were planning to acquire us, but they were actually planning to acquire us, like just to get the engineer talent without not big offer. And just at that time, like I was actually excited because like Facebook was like the biggest company at that time, like just this big. Facebook is huge. Everybody uses Facebook, and here we are, like potentially. And I was really excited about it. So we were talking about it, but I guess like I cannot go into too much details because there was an NDA, I guess. But yeah, I mean, so that offer actually I really considered that one, and we really went through with the talks. But yeah, other than that, like there was no real, talking with anybody about an exit. And yeah, I wasn't convinced that it makes sense, especially for our users, for our customers, for our product. I didn't feel like it would make sense.
But for you now, we see many founders, entrepreneurs, kind of they have success in one business, and then they start other projects or kind of hire a CEO. You're still the CEO of the company. Why is there, to my knowledge at least, why is there
Definitely have the same itch.
Yeah,
To start a new company. So basically, I actually discovered a way to kind of scratch that itch, and the solution was to actually build products within Jotform. So instead of going out to the world and just building this product from the ground with no users, no customers, what we do at Jotform is we are just building these complementary products. And so like we have a saying at Jotform that we say forms are the first step in the journey. What we discovered was like people don't create forms just to create forms or fill out forms just to fill out forms, because there's a workflow, there's a business process. Like someone is filling out a request form, making a request, and this goes to someone else. That person looks at the request, maybe approves it, maybe gets back to them if it's a lead or something, right? There's always these multiple workflows. And then what we discovered that there's a big puzzle, and we are just providing the first piece. Why don't we provide the next pieces in the puzzle so that we can actually own more of their business automations, their workflows? We can help them automate their workflows. And so we start building all these additional products like Jotform. We have a document generation product, Jotform, PDF editor, where you can actually turn the data from forms into these PDF files and design them. We have a e-signature product, just like DocuSign, Jotform Sign. We have this product that you can actually combine your forms and turn them into mobile apps and create this no-code app build. We created this no-code app builder, Jotform apps. So we created all these additional products, and now I'm actually working on Jotform AI agents. So basically, I'm building new products, but I'm doing that for our customers, for our users, as opposed to just going out there and starting from scratch.
Yeah, so you split your time between kind of operating and building.
Yeah, I mean, I actually that's another story. What I discovered was a few years back, I was I felt like this overqualified administrator, just going to all these meetings, and meeting after meeting, approving things, just listening to status reports. I didn't feel like I was enjoying my work. I didn't enjoy the work, and I didn't felt like I was doing something really valuable. And I assume that this is how things go when you go, have a company with hundreds of employees. And but then basically I had my third child and just took some time off, and then while I was away, I actually I felt like this is wrong. I'm actually doing things wrong. I should be I'm the my title is founder and CEO. But I was just being the CEO, but I was actually not being a founder. And founder, I assume that founder is something about the past. Okay, I'm the founder of the company, but founder can be a title for the long term. And Program actually has an article for that, the founder mode. Exactly, I'm talking about exactly that, the founder mode. And the founder doesn't have to be this person who founded the company. Founder could be this evergreen title. And so I should be designing the future of Jotform. I should be designing the future products, future team, future culture. I should be designing the future of Jotform, just not just designing, but basically sometimes executing it. And that's actually what I started doing. In the beginning, I decided to focus on 5 things, like every day of the week. Like Monday, I'm focused on this, Tuesday. And then I even reduced that to like 2 things. Now that I'm just focused on 2 things. And one of them is like, and how I decide on what to do is like, I look at Jotform overall, and I look at like, what's the biggest opportunity for Jotform, and what's the biggest bottleneck for our company? Like, what's the biggest opportunity? What's the biggest bottleneck? And the biggest opportunity today is the AI. Like, just there's this big revolution going on. It's as big as the invention of the computer, invention of the internet, and the mobile phones, smartphones. This is as big as those 3 revolutions that happened during my lifetime. So I decided that half of my time right now, I just Mondays and Wednesdays, I just focus on Jotform AI and just spend all my time leading the team. I started the project a year ago with like just 3 AI engineers, and then like 120 people are actually working on this product today. And the other thing was like the biggest bottleneck was for our revenue growth, like our enterprise growth. Like we have been this product-led company for a long time. For the first 10 years, we didn't have a salesperson, maybe even more. And then we actually at some point, like people were calling me and saying, we are not going to buy your product because you don't have a salesperson. Like, who's going to answer our questionnaires? Who's going to answer our questions? We can't buy a SaaS service product. And then we built this enterprise product, and it's growing much faster than this SaaS service product right now. So I'm looking into like how can I, as a founder, how can I look at everything across the company, and how can I make sure that we can actually improve that bottleneck so that our revenues grow even further. So that's why just what happened with all those administrative stuff or all these decisions that needs to be made was actually I gave more power to our executives, like our VPs, and I also have a chief operating officer, COO, and he's basically taking care of all those things. And unless something is really, really, really important, he makes those decisions. And like if it's a HR decision, if it's a decision that needs to be made, because at some point, like just the number of decisions that needs to be made becomes so big that the CEO doesn't have time to actually do anything else. Like just I didn't expect that, but it happens.
Yeah, and I think it was Jeff Bezos who said it. It's like his job is to make 1 or 2 good decisions a day or a week or so. It's not about all the 500 other decisions in the company. That's why you have employees. That's why you have VPs or CEOs. So I think that is a more sustainable way to also grow the business, because like you said, if all you do is answer Slack messages or emails or sitting meetings all day, you don't get anything done. Yeah. So on a more tactical note, for founders or entrepreneurs starting their business or are kind of in the beginning of their growth, what tips do you have for them? How do you hire the right people? Where do you find the right growth vehicles for your business?
So I don't see growth as just by itself. I think just looking at growth as by itself would be a mistake. So I have this rule that I call 50-50 rule. And in the beginning of the company, especially, this is really important. So as a founder, you should be spending half of your time with product. And sometimes the product could be a service. and half of your time with the growth. And it's important that you actually make sure that you are actually giving enough kind of brain power to both things, because if you lack in one aspect, just like in sports, like if you are not powerful in one side, like you get injuries, right? So it's just like things stop working. For example, if you're a good salesperson, like if you can bring lots of people, or if you are good at like product-led sales, and you can grow and you can bring like, organic Google traffic or something, but your product isn't good or your service isn't good, what happens is that when people come, you have this big churn rate, you have this unhappy customers. It actually doesn't help you. It actually kind of like people give you bad reviews, and then it's actually terrible to have too many product in the beginning. You want low number of people using your product because it sucks. Every product or every service sucks in the beginning. And on the product or service side, sometimes the entrepreneurs, they're just going to spend all their time building. And what happens is that no one is using this product. No one is giving the feedback. And your product sucks, but you don't know it. And you are building this overcomplicated, overbuilt product that people get confused when they try to use it, because there's just like so many things. And so you want to make sure that you kind of have that balance. And so in terms of growth, I think, it kind of depends on the product or service. What worked really well for us is basically just having the free product has been big, because this allows us to meet with people and just get them to try the product, use the product, and then they can upgrade to the. And this also like just creates so much goodwill. You get good reviews on different places. People are kind of mention the product to others. How we have grown Jotform is like, I think there are a few things that really work for us. The first one is having a free product. Because free is a great way to meet people. People love to use free products. And it's just a way for them to try the product without any, risks. And also like free users, they also still talk about your product. They give reviews. They kind of mention your product to others, become a referral. So it's just free, and actually a great way to grow the product. The second one was like Jotform by nature has this virality, because when you have a form, what do you do with a form? You give it to others to fill out, right? So when you actually share a form, you're basically also, sharing Jotform. They discover Jotform as well, and they also become Jotform users. So that was the second one. And I think the third one is I think SEO has been really powerful for us, and one of the ways SEO really helped us was, by creating these form templates, and just having these different use cases, creating these templates. Like initially, our goal with form templates was to help people, like when they are creating a form, save time so that they can just pick a template and start with that. But then we discovered that templates are a great way to actually bring traffic to our website. When we build a template, like people who are actually thinking about creating a form like that, they are searching for an example, they are searching for a template, they find us and they discover how easy it is to use us, and then they just use our product that way. So we just built like so many templates, and that has helped us with traffic as well. But in general, I think it's being like persistent, being long term, just doing things over and over again, like just like blogging. I've been writing for a blog for, even before I started Jotform, for 2 decades now. And right now I usually write on like for other like I write for like Forbes, Entrepreneur, Fast Company. So I think that's a great way to get people to know you and the product. Yeah, so it's just, I think it's just over time it just adds up. You just like, there is no like magic formula, but if you keep doing those things over time, you get more and more successful. It's just like, SaaS businesses, they snowball over time as long as you keep improving your product.
Yeah.
And the same way, the growth and the traffic also increases as you keep doing more and more things.
One of the hardest things is probably hiring. So in the beginning, when you added 1 employee per year, I would argue it's probably even harder to hire when you can only afford 1. So how did you find the right people, especially in the beginning?
It was actually really hard to find, because we were small and we couldn't offer like a high salary. So what happened was like we hired all these junior people, like just right out of college, and I basically trained them. Because we were small, just we would spend all day long. I would, give them directions. Like we would go to lunch together. We would always talk about Jotform, and just because I've been a programmer before, and when I was hiring a programmer, I knew like, I was able to like just separate, good people, even if they are junior. I looked at like if they have done something on their own. I think that was even today, that's a great criteria. Just looking at their past experiences, even if they're junior, if they have done something on their own on the side, and just it's just easier if you have done something for a long time to hire someone. It's kind of harder if you haven't done the job yourself. Like with the sales, like when I hired our first sales employee, like I failed, and the second one I failed, the third one I failed, and only the fourth time I was able to find the right person. And at that point, I was just like so tired, and I I was losing hope that I said, "Hey, I'm tired of letting go people. Like, let's just work for 3 months as like these, as a consulting or as a contract, and let's see what happens." And then he was able to just accomplish the job, and then he became the employee, and then he started growing the team as well, and he still has our sales team today. Yeah,
that's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool to see people grow with the company as well. So you come in as a sales rep, but then you're kind of head of sales some years later, and it's more
still, if you think about it, the story was still about persistence, right? And this, like, it took me like 3 years to get that up and running, but I kept hiring, kept trying, and just at some point you learn from mistakes, and you hire the right person. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's 18 years now, and
18 years.
Still going, and still growing as well. So that's really cool, and the story is very inspiring because most of the stories we hear is kind of we got this huge investment, which for me it's cool, but my point of view has always been, yeah, but you haven't made any money, which is your product might be good, but the business is bad. So my favorite kind of argument for this is Spotify just this year is profitable after 20 years or something, which is the product is great, but is the business really good if they only lose money every year? I don't know. I prefer profits.
I can understand in their case, they went after the market share. That's a huge business, and now they own the market. So it's just like Amazon. I think that's a good strategy. Like the Amazon was also losing money for the first 10 or 20 years, but then like once they had like the big ownership of the big market, then you can actually kind of stop kind of invest in your business, and then you can increase the revenues that way. Yeah, it makes sense for them, like, because they are going after these big markets that kind of like the winner wins it all in those markets.
Yeah, it
So
makes sense for some niches, some markets, but you see kind of local startups getting millions and millions, and then their competitor is Microsoft, which is you can't win. But yeah, we have a final question for all our guests, which is kind of the title of the podcast, which is, what is the beauty of business to you?
building. And I love building because when you build, you can create value for others. And when you create value for others, then, like, you get some part of that value you get back as maybe, you get back as market share, or you get back as revenue, or you get back as, like, good reviews, good mentions. And what happens is that now you can use those resources to build more. And just as long as you keep reinvesting and building, I think it's just you can keep building and you can create great things. And that's why I think the beauty of business is building, because when you build good things happen. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming here today. Where could people find you? Of course, where can they find Jotform? And we should reach out.
So my first name, last name.com, aytekintank.com is my personal page, where you can actually find my writings and my book. And the first chapter of my book is freely available. You can read that as well. So it's and you can find a contact form. Reach me from there as well. So
I'll take
thank you
Jotform,
for
I
going
guess.
your show. Thank you.